this morning is from Matthew, the 13th chapter, the 24th through 30th, and the 36th through 43rd verses. This is Jesus putting before them another parable. The kingdom of heaven may be compared to someone who sowed good seed in his field. But while everyone was asleep, an enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat, and then went away. So, when the plants came up and bore grain, the weeds appeared as well. And the slaves of the householder came and said to him, "Master, did you not sow good seed in your field? Where then did these weeds come from?" He answered, "An enemy has done this." The slaves said to him, "Then do you want us to go and gather them?" But he replied, "No, for in gathering the weeds, you would uproot the wheat along with them. Let both of them grow together until the harvest. And at harvest time, I will tell the reapers, collect the weeds first and bind them in bundles to be burned, but gather the wheat into my barn." Then he left the crowds and went into the house. And his disciples approached him, saying, "Explain to us the parable of the weeds of the field." He answered, "The one who sows the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. And the good seed are the children of the kingdom. The weeds are the children of the evil one. And the enemy who sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are angels. Just as weeds are collected and burned up with fire, so it will be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send his angels, and they will collect out of his kingdom all causes of sin and all evildoers, and they will throw them into the furnace of fire, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Let anyone who has ears listen." The world is just chock full of God. Everywhere. Divinity anywhere you can look. You can find God in the most unlikely places. Yesterday I was watching some workers work on the next door neighbor's retaining wall. And they were working hard. It was a concrete block wall. And they were putting the mastic stuff in, the joint stuff. And then they came over on our side of the wall and they were scraping it down onto the dirt. And I was watching out my window while I was working on all the stuff for today. And I thought to myself, sadly, they're scraping all that old concrete down into the dirt that I was planting roses in. And I was kind of perturbed at first. Then as I watched, I saw a few things happen. One was that they were very precise in their building of the wall. And loving geometry as I do, I was like, wow, that's really cool. So it was me. And, I put up walls myself, but I was looking at them, wow, they're straight, they have rebars, they're doing it right, and it looks really good. And then a little while later, I looked out, and they had cleaned up all the dead concrete from the dirt. They had scraped it all up and taken it away. And I thought, okay, somebody just taught me not to assume things ahead of time, but, wake up and realize that this is all good. This is all good. And I thought, okay, all right, so you learned something. Wake up, open up your perception a little bit of what someone is actually doing and how they're doing things. And not last night, because I was busy doing other stuff, but the night before I'd gone outside with the dogs and just watched them running around and licking each other on the side of the face and just having a wonderful time caring for each other. And those of you who don't know, we have 2 dogs. In theory, they each should weigh about the same. But one is a Ridgeback who weighs, I don't know, maybe 75 pounds or so. And the other is a Labrador she's just as sweet as she can be. She's pretty much blind and she's terribly obese. She looks, when we get there, she looks more like a pot-bellied pig. It's gigantic. And, but the love between them, the sense of community between them as they just ran around, and she runs all around the yard, even though she can't see hardly a thing. You know, she runs all around and enjoys the company of her friend and companion. And he enjoys her company, his friend. And they come up and they see us and they'll lick us or get a treat and go on. But somewhat of an unlikely pair. They remind me of Jack Spratt. He was the Ridgeback that was positively skinny. But she's not perfect, not at all. In fact, she lays down in the flower bed and irritates Sandy, crushes flowers, digs things up. But yet, God is in her. They make things kind of messy. Jacob, in our story, he made kind of a mess of his life. We didn't read the earlier part of the story last week because we were focusing on something else. But Jacob deceived his father. He pulled a fast one on his brother. He pretended to be Esau to get the inheritance. He just basically got himself in a lot of hot water, lying and deceiving people. His brother threatened to kill him, and he had to leave. He left town pretty quick, and he went out wandering through a place that was scary and dark and had wild animals and robbers. He didn't have shelter. He was without a roof. He was without a home, even though he'd come from a very rich family. His encounter with holiness came by pure grace. As he slept with a rock for a pillow, he had a dream about the angels of God watching over him. He had a dream where God spoke to him and told him he would keep him safe. He proclaims, surely God was in this place, and I didn't know it. How awesome is that? He called the place Bethel. How awesome is that? It reminds me that this place, for some reason, has something special. The reason, of course, is God and the Spirit of God and the people of God that are here. It's not the frame of the rocks or the wood, as beautiful as all of those are. Those came about by the care of the humans, the ones that work together with God. But I actually do believe that this is one of those places of blessing. Celtic tradition would call it a thin place, a place where heaven and earth are close. Those places may come about by some mechanism we don't understand of God. They also come about by use of us being in touch with God and being in touch with the community. Of us filling our world and our earth with divinity. In many ways, we are Earth's own angels. God isn't far off in the sky on some marble throne. God is right here with us in this holy place. You don't have to go up a giant ladder or stairway or elevator or whatever you need to get there. You don't have to do that to find the divinity of heaven, because it's right here, right now, with God in our hearts. When we heard the letter to the Romans, a lot of fancy words in that reading, but it tells us that God speaks within us. God inspires our individual wholeness, speaks through every single living thing, even those little itty bitty carrot seeds that the kids put in their dirt. Because what's going to happen? There's going to be something huge grow out of it. Have you seen the size of a carrot seed? Some of you saw it last week. It looks like a flea, it's tiny. And it'll grow a carrot. But that's just amazing. Of course, the seed of human life is tiny. And look at me. I'm not tiny. There is no dividing world between God and the world, or human or non-human life. We share our life. We share the breath of life and the movements of the Spirit with everything, with all reality. Everything in its own way. Rocks, trees, dogs, cats, people of all sorts and sizes lean to God like sunflowers to the sun. We seek that. In Jesus' parable, the wheat and the tares, the word for weeds, the tares, are mixed up. Our church is still fairly small congregationally. I hope we're all wheat. But you know, it wouldn't matter if we had 100 people in here today. There'd probably be some who weren't totally authentic. Probably. There've probably been some who have come through here who weren't totally authentic in their dedication to God and their faith. But our job isn't to get out that thing that my mom made me dig the grass up with in the dichondra. Our job is to welcome. Our job is to love. Our job is to share God's word so that everyone can grow in it, so that everyone can have that Spirit of God, so that everyone that is here can grow into wheat. And there will be those who are not. And at the very end of all things, they will be separated out. That's God's job, not ours. And you know what? Maybe if they came in here at first, not being perfect, they match the rest of us. I didn't come in here being perfect. But I've grown since I've been here, as have every single one of you. And that is our job, to grow, to learn, to teach each other, and to hold each other up, and welcome each other into God's love. If we destroy the tares, the wheat will die. Life is interdependent. We are seeking here to embrace our whole lives in the light of God's grace. And God offers that grace to everyone. Our power and our wisdom and our understanding all comes from embracing the whole of God. One of the readings that we didn't do formally today was Psalm 139, which tells us that darkness, even darkness, has a light of its own. We each can have our own spirit of creative transformation within us. We can grow even if there's a weed near us. We can be stronger. God is in this place. God is even in the mixture of the wheat and the weeds and the flowers. God comes to us on the darkest night when we, like Jacob in the wilderness, fleeing from his own sin, recognize brokenness. We have all at some time had something broken. God cries out in that wounded nature. And wherever we are, just like the promise to Jacob, wherever we are, God is present. Wherever we are, it is Bethel, the house of God, the blessed place. May it be so.